All right, what is up, Maniacs? Happy Tuesday. Welcome to episode 2 of Sound and Pound with yours truly, Drake Riggs and Alex Behunin, here to bring you all the latest happenings in the world of mixed martial arts. The crazy shit, that is what we're all about here at MMA Mania. All the goofy goodness, if you will. Alex, we got the intro song here as I was teasing you with. What do you think? How we feeling in week 2, buddy? A lot to get into.
I dig it, bro. I like your choice. You have a nice ear.
All right, thanks. Yeah, I try. I'm getting more in touch with my musical side these days. For anyone who's been following me personally, will know I'm kind of addicted to music again right now. So, yes, but good stuff. A lot to get into. The song isn't going to play the whole show, I promise. I just want to let it ride out. But a lot to get into, Alex. UFC 294 Fight Week. We had a very good main event last week with UFC Vegas 81. We'll get into that. Highlight all of our fun segments again. And since we are in our home studios, as much as last week was fun being in person, and we will do it again in the future, we promise. It's going to be nice to actually put some tweaks up here and get things kind of comfortable. Probably change the format in terms of what you guys are seeing as time goes on. I know Alex was talking about maybe potentially getting like a sidebar type thing, which is actually, I noticed, isn't too crazy to do on StreamYard. So maybe we can do that here if we can't do Streamlabs, which is also great. But either way, visual changes are coming. But I don't know. Yo, Octagon updates here to kick things off. What is up, sir? Let's say hello to you. But Alex, shall we dive right in, man? I mean, maniacal moment of the week. Obviously, if we're gonna highlight the stories, we got to talk about all the shit that happened immediately after last week's episode. I'm sure that we are the same with our maniacal moment of the week for the stories and whatnot. So, I mean, the shakeups, USADA stuff. I'm assuming that's what you're agreeing with me here, right?
I mean,
Yeah.
how can I do USADA or UFC 294? Like it's just like I wanted to go a little. Yeah,
A little more
that's
obscure.
just those are the answers, really.
Yeah, so I mean, we haven't talked about it, I think, intentionally until this moment. So I think the big question I've seen a lot of people asking is like, did this make UFC 294 better? And initial reaction for me, I think I want to say yes, but I'm reserved because of the short notice part. But I guess what was the reaction you had to it? We'll start with that, then we'll get into the USADA fucking madness. But these shakeups, do you agree? Is the card better now? I'm kind of split on it.
Yeah, I mean, kind
Still
of.
good, obviously.
Yeah, it's still really good. I kind of wanted to see Paulo Costa versus Hamzat more than I want to see Hamzat versus Usman.
Yeah.
Although the Islam versus Volk 2 is better than Islam versus Charles 2, in my
Agreed.
opinion. So, yeah, I mean, whichever way you kind of turn it, it's such a very very fun fight card.
Which one then? Then we agree. Volk Makachev. That one more interested in.
Yeah, well, yeah, 1000%. I mean, it's interesting just to see how Usman will look at middleweight. I've seen a couple of like things he's saying he's gonna fight or he's gonna weigh in at like 183. So he is gonna be smaller than Hamzat Chimaev, obviously. But
Right.
I just want to see like, is Usman's wrestling good enough to stop Chimaev's wrestling? Like that's like that's the thing I wanted to see when they were gonna like when they were rumored to fight at welterweight. Like it's a very fascinating matchup.
Yeah, I know. It's very interesting to me, kind of how like these factors are weighing the perceptions, kind of throwing them off for me because it's essentially a welterweight contenders fight. These top guys just fighting without weight cutting, And but my thought is like, and I see a lot of people saying it like, oh, Hamzat he is a sizable favorite. I don't have the odds up right now. I should pull those up again like I did last week, but I think what 200, 300 ish a minus for
Last I checked, it was like minus 230.
yeah, which is like pretty crazy actually. Like I know a lot of the circumstances are playing into it, like I said, but it's just kind of weird because when you think about taking it away, like and just kind of still kind of getting it out of the vacuum, I guess. Like Usman is still insanely good. He only lost to Leon, both of those fights he had a lot of success in. A lot. Like he was
Right.
obviously winning the first one. Second fight, I know some people do think he won. I do not, but he did have success. It was competitive, but I think a clear victory for Leon. But either way, like he hasn't, I think, shown as much regression as people feel that he has. It's more of a Leon Edwards thing, I think. Um, I do think Hamzat will probably beat him, but I think that it's just kind of really weird in this case. So I'm very excited for it. The main event, obviously, very crazy too. Um, I think that one throws me a lot more off with the short notice because for Volk, like he's just I think he is that guy. And I think it does help him a little bit to have it this way. You know, a little bit of the chaos.
1000%. Yeah, like he's that dude, bro. Like he's that guy, pal. Like he's that guy. I and with how crazy the main event underdogs have been this year, like
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just
I mean,
that
it
in
would only make
itself,
sense.
right? I mean, 1000%. Like it's crazy. And then yeah, it's man, there's the balls on that guy because to fight Islam on 11 days notice is fucking insane. Then
To fight
on
Islam
top
by
of
himself at any time.
yeah, yeah, 1000%. Fight Islam at any point is hard. Then fight him on 11 days notice. Then on top of that, if you lose this fight, you're not getting another shot at the lightweight
Yes.
title for the foreseeable future. So there's like, man, the balls on that guy, dude. It's crazy.
Yeah, and that's what he kind of mentioned too, though, was like it seemed like well, I think it might have been on the MMA Hour yesterday. One of his the recent things he's done since the fight was made, but he sounded like he kind of felt like, well, shit, maybe if I don't do this now, it's not gonna you could miss it because of Gaethje in the mix there, and just the fact that I get his line of thinking because of the fact there are different divisions and different champions, so there's kind of always things going on for them, and like he still does want to fight Tapuria in January, which holy fuck if he does do that, I love the guy, please
Yeah.
make it happen. But yeah, it's I'm very, very excited for it still, regardless of everything, just because of how the first fight went and the fact that, you could argue that he won. Um, and then for it to play out like this is like, goddamn, if he pulls it off. I'm going to say this, it's not going to be the biggest upset ever. I've seen some people say like it'll be in that realm. I haven't seen him say it will be, but like, come on, you can't say that. He's one of the best fighters on the planet still. You can't, there's never that case when it's those type of guys.
What that? Yeah, I mean, and they fight, and people think he beat Islam in the first fight. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like, yeah, it's not. Yeah, it's not even. Yeah,
I think, yeah, we're getting PR bots out or something. But
basically.
all right, man. I mean, the madness about USADA and whatnot. I feel like Alex, just because I know you're a big ol' John Jones nut hugger, you don't care too much about steroids and shit. So I'm sure you were happy about this.
No, I mean, it's just I'm I'm happy that the portion I'm happy about is just like how much of a dire situation like USADA was putting on the athletes
Yeah, yeah.
about like the locations they were at, waking them up at fucking 5 a.m. in the morning. Like that's just like that sucks. That
Yeah.
just sucks, right? Like it's just annoying. So I'm happy about that. Um, and of course it was fun to joke about fires being on steroids for like the foreseeable future and
Yeah.
all the memes are coming out. But I mean, we all know like the UFC did so much work in to clean up the sport that like they weren't just gonna be like, all right, well, that was a good 8 year experiment. Now you guys
Back
can
to
go.
nothing.
Yeah, exactly. So, and I think that's USADA helped them do a blueprint on how to make a top of the line drug testing system, right? So, I think the UFC it's going to run exactly the same. They're using some of USADA. They're going to use some of their own stuff. Like the testing is all there.
Yeah.
It's just now they don't have to worry. Like the fighters don't have to worry about waking up at 5 in the morning or it's just like that. That's like that stuff is just so in a sport like mixed martial arts, waking a fighter up before their fight to drug test, like, bruh, like,
Literally, Volk had that happen. Yeah. Speaking of
yeah,
him,
I mean, it's just crazy. Like, dude, like, a 6 hour difference is not going to make a fucking difference on steroid ingestion. It's just not. It's just not. So yeah, that's my thought. I thought that the press
handling.
conference that yeah, the Hunter and Jeff did, it seemed like a very big PR puff piece. It was cool to hear Hunter Campbell. Like, that's like
I
the
like
most we've
hearing
ever
from
heard.
him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
heard him. He's like very. I like the way he speaks. It's very lawyerish. Like, you can
Yes.
tell he was picking what he was saying, and then just the stupid the most funny the funniest thing out of everything was how they were pitching us George Piro as the guy who fucking interrogated Saddam Hussein. Like, bro, like, what, you gonna go interrogate fighters, like, and fucking waterboard him? Like, where'd you get this TRT, bro? Where'd you get this? Where'd you get this D-ball? As they waterboard him, like, bro, like, that's just crazy. And the fact, I think somebody even mentioned it in the chat, like,
Ghost mentioned
George,
him.
yeah, George Piro trains at ATT. So talk about a fucking ethics in that.
Yeah, a
So
little conflicting. So my goodness. Yeah, so hi, hello everybody who's coming in. Pokimane here. I doubt that's the real one, but hello. um, we got commenters. Thank you guys. I forgot to mention again as we're 10 minutes in now, but if you are on Twitter, head on over to YouTube to comment, chime in, all that good stuff. Can't see them if you were commenting directly on Twitter. But yeah, man, I think that is definitely the big thing, is kind of the location strictness, because again, the slippery slope of independent contractor or not, it's just a perpetual kind of thing there. But I don't know exactly. I guess that argument might be canceled out by the Olympics. I don't, obviously not as educated in that realm, but they do the same thing, right? Or did. I don't know if they still do. That's how little I even know about it. But yeah, I think you summed that up pretty well. It was I think the kind of the wildest part was the drama behind it all. Obviously, between both sides, USADA,
yeah,
and how I love kind of how it became. I don't even know what you want to call it, but how what Hunter and Jeff said, like, we wanted a rep, like, him to rescind it by 5, by 5, and then what ends up happening is like a sentence where he's like, "Now we stand by our words." Like, that's what they end up saying, like, after 5. But that I thought was really funny. So as I don't know what I would pick as kind of crazier between those two, but those are 100% perfectly fitting for our
I mean,
segment
and the
this
fact
week.
that it happened within like the same few days, is just insane.
Yes. Yeah. No, that was of course that had to conflict with like my traveling stuff. It made it even busier for me. I was going the USADA stuff happened right as I was getting ready to go to the airport, actually. So that was some madness. But all right, we will move on from that, Alex, from our maniacal madness to the underrated moment of the week. I mean, I think everything is now because of that stuff, but I guess I will kick us off here, and I'm going to take your prospect of last week, filling in for the underrated moment of the week, which is Mr. Paul Hughes with a spectacular counter right hook. And I have the power and technology of things here. I will pull it up for you guys. If you missed it, Paul Hughes, though, Alex, he should probably be in the UFC now, shouldn't he? Let's take a
Yes.
look at this.
Oh,
The world was 145 pounds, and that includes the UFC.
From Cage Warriors.
pink.
Just nasty, nasty work. Crowd goes wild. I mean, clearly got a bit of a following. Guy is looking to be a problem, Alex. So that's a double whammy for you with the shout there, and then coming in clutch on underrated
Yeah.
moment. What is yeah, what is 7-0? What is his record? Am I way off there?
No, I
He's
couldn't.
undefeated, right?
Yeah, no. Hold on. I guess we have the power of
Yes.
topology.
Yeah, we do.
Let's see. Paul Hughes, 10-1.
Okay. All right. So yeah, he is rolling. Looking very good. I thought that I think that why I gave it this slot was because you called it out, and then the way he performed, like, I mean, that's all ties in too well. But we have a lot to choose from, like I said. So, what is your underrated moment of the week, my friend?
So I have two. I want you to choose which one I should talk about.
Okay.
I got Mike Jackson versus Pat Miletich shit show, and then Gordon Ryan and Mark Hunt fighting over steroids.
That shouldn't be the surprise of the week, but it caught me off guard. Like, it makes total sense, but wow. That's tough to pick between. I think let's go with kind of the ridiculous. I think and Jackson might be more ridiculous. So take that away.
I mean, dude,
How embarrassing.
Pat Miletich scores 2 10-8 rounds in round one, round two. Dominates this guy. Just fucking drops him twice in each round. Just elbows the fuck
As a
out
near
of him.
60-year-old, mind you.
55 years old. Beats the fuck out of this guy. And then quits on the stool in the third round because he can't breathe. Like, it's just Mike Jackson. Mike Jackson might be probably the worst fighter on planet Earth. I mean,
Not good.
I think Jay Ellis, the infamous Jay Ellis,
Could beat him.
could beat him. But I mean, just look at Mike Jackson's MMA career, bro. Like, you get to the UFC 0-0, you get tapped by Mickey Gall in 54 seconds. You beat CM Punk in a horrible fight, no contest. Then you go to Dean Barry. You win that fight by DQ. Then you get slept. Then you get slept by Pete Rodriguez out of the UFC. And then you get dominated by Pat Miletich, and then you win via TKO corner stoppage. Like,
it doesn't sound real, dude.
I mean, bro, like, yeah, it's just it's so silly. It's so silly.
Yeah, that it was one of those things where
He
when
did
I
lose
saw
to Jake Shields.
Who did? Oh, yeah, he did.
lose to Jake Shields.
Good call.
The
UFC
performance.
God.
Yeah,
and he's following up on his lawsuit. Oh, yeah. I mean, I don't know if I should say it.
No, go, bro. Do it.
I was gonna say, he's just like one of the biggest jokes, like, in the community. Like,
1000%.
Like, I don't know the guy anything like that personally or whatnot, but you just laid it all out. I mean, how else am I supposed to feel? Like, it's I would be surprised, if he don't let this guy fight anymore.
I mean, if you fight, I mean, the most logical next fight is fight Jake Shields, but after what we saw, Jake Shields would probably murder that guy.
Yeah, would not be good. I could have swore you were going to say Dylan Dennis, which that's
I don't
want to even think about that.
No.
That's like the ultimate lose.
Fuck.
Oh god. And I am not going to talk about that on the show, you guys, from last week. Don't worry. I know we're about that crazy shit, but that does not count in my book. So yeah. Wow. I mean, we just talked about that other stuff in the maniacal moment, and then you bring up that. It was a fucking ridiculous week and weekend of things. I like forgot about that going into the show. So I'm glad you mentioned both of those, really.
Just fucking stupid.
This is pinnacle of MMA. But yes, Pokemon, I believe that he is going through with that. And yes, it was a fantastic knockout as well from Pete Rodriguez. Shout outs to Pete. Thank you for that one, saving us. I mean, let's close up here on him real quick. But how stunned were you that Dana even fucking gave him another chance? After CM Punk was surprising, but after the Dean Barry one, I was like, and then I saw the Pete Rodriguez fight booked. I was like, wow, maybe he did it for this outcome.
1000%. They wanted a highlight knockout, and they got one.
Yeah, that all makes sense. I just I sorted it on the spot there. So yeah, that let's not talk about Mike Jackson anymore. Moving on, you guys, to our Mania main line. Time to inject the craziness coming up this week, Alex, highlighting our personal favorite upcoming fights. What we're most interested in. We'll touch on, of course, the big ones, the co-main, make our predictions for UFC 294. But in terms of what really get the Alex juices flowing on the underneath, and just, I mean, it doesn't have to be UFC, obviously, but that's obviously the big thing going on. What are we injecting this week, Alex?
Yeah, I mean, there isn't much there's like not much else going on.
Outside, yeah.
I know that Timur Valiev is fighting Rolian Paiva. That's going to be a very fun fight in UAE. But man, it sucks because like I fully wanted to go Ikram versus Nazardine, but obviously that fight's not happening.
Mm-hmm.
So the thing about this fight card is that
I like it, actually.
Like no, it is. It's a fun card, but there's so many favorites. Like you can kind of look at it and be like, yeah, guy's winning, she's winning, he's winning, he's winning. So I mean, I guess I'll just kind of point out my boy Javid Basharat. Fighting Victor Henry. It's a very fun fight. It's the first fight that Basharat's fought and not in the Apex, so he's going to have a crowd to come out to. I think that's going to be a very fun fight. I think Basharat should probably win this fight somewhat easily, but Victor Henry's a dog. Like, he really is.
Yes.
So I really like that fight. I like the Muhammad Makayev versus Tim Elliott fight. That's going to be kind of crazy until I think Makayev just kind of takes over and just his youth, right? Like his youth is just kind of gonna come through. And St. Dumas, I think he should knock out Abu Azaitar in the first round.
Ooh, all right. Yeah, there's some. I think with the kind of, I don't want to say totally obvious victors, but the guys who like probably should win these ones. Yeah, they do stand out a little bit there. I did notice that, but I'm gonna take actually one you didn't mention. So it lines up perfectly. And James here, I want to give a shout out to you, my friend James Kendrick mentioned them early on, and we will get to your questions, you guys, again at the end. Cover all the bases that we might miss. I know I've got updates asking about China. I'm not sure what exactly the deal is with that, but we will get to it. James asking, are you excited for Wood and Naimov? Nathaniel Wood is very good, and that is my one that I wanted to inject because I don't know about you, Alex, but fucking featherweight Nathaniel Wood is one of my favorite guys right now. I think he has like really taken a huge step up since kind of just these last two wins, this winning streak he's been on. I think he's looked sensational. I know he got like dropped in the last fight. It was really fun, but just his striking, I think, has gotten even better. He's looking really, really awesome right now. This matchup kind of wasn't what I expected them to make for him just because of kind of the trajectory he was going on. It felt like he might get a top 15 guy sooner rather than later just because he's been around for a bit, even though new to the division. Like Nathaniel Wood, he's got the following where he's from too, and all that stuff. But yeah, I'm really on Nathaniel Wood in this recent stretch, so I'm looking forward to seeing him back. But yeah, I mean, what do you think? What do you think about his?
Yeah, no, it's a very fun fight, and it's to me, it's almost like a coin flip of a fight. Like I kind of think Wood should win, but his opponent's really good, man. And he showed in his debut, like knocking out Malarkey is pretty. Yeah, I mean that was an eye opener. I'm surprised you didn't go with Victoria Dudikova.
We'll get there.
Tease. That's a tease.
Yep. We'll get there. I'm sorting out my segments. I got this. But
Gotcha.
Yes. So shouts to both of them. But all right, Alex, as we finish up the main line, we got to talk about the big ones. We got to make our picks. So co-main event, of course, had to talk about them to kick off the show and the craziness there. But Hamzat and Kamaru Usman. I'm super excited for it. I wish it was 5 rounds. Kind of happy, not happy that it's not because of the short notice, but this fight deserves it. Clearly deserves 5, but that changes the dynamic, I think, potentially a lot. So how do you envision it? Method, all that good stuff.
Man, it's like, how can you not pick Hamzat? Just the youth, the strength, the size. Um, and the big thing for me is Usman's knees. Like, we all know, bro. Like, Usman has the knees of a 97-year-old. Like, they're not good. I think he's only going to be able to. I don't think Chimaev is going to go in there and run through Usman. I just don't think it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Now, does Chimaev finish Usman?
That sounds so crazy to even say.
I know.
Like
I kind of don't think so. Like, I mean, I think everyone's just like, now Usman doesn't have a chin because he ate a fucking high kick from Leon Edwards. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I think it's gonna be, and obviously MMA math does not work, but Chimaev went life and death with Gilbert Burns. Kamaru Usman finished Gilbert Burns, and so, like, what I'm saying? Like, yeah, just saying. So I'm gonna go Chimaev unanimous decision. Funny enough, I was picking Paulo Costa to beat Chimaev. I really liked that. I just thought that, like, Chimaev's not gonna be a weight bully against Paulo Costa because Paulo Costa is a weight bully himself. So, like,
yeah, right.
like, I just felt like I think everyone clowns on Costa just because of how little he fights and his per personality and how much he pulls out of fights, and he got dog walked by Izzy. Like, I just feel like when you all come down to it, Paulo Costa is a fucking really good fighter. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. But anyway, that's obviously not the fight. So I'm gonna go Chimaev by decision.
All right. Well, I disagree with you about the Costa prediction there, but it doesn't matter now. So, I'm glad, though. I'm really glad you mentioned the Burns fight, because the more I have thought about this, especially with the 3 rounds, I actually think that it can look very similar to that fight. But kind of the biggest difference will be, I don't think it's going to be as fun and kind of crazy fight of the year candidate. I think it can be close, but the thing that makes it different for me is obviously the big thing with that fight was Hamzat respected the shit out of Gilbert's ground game, as he should have. He messed around like within the first 2 minutes there. That was like about it for the fight, maybe a little bit in the second round if I remember correctly. But either way, point is he leaned on his striking. Just, it sounds funny to say to be safe, but realistically he did. That was a safe decision for him to fight that way. Don't think he's going to do that against Kamaru, though. And that's really important because if Leon was able to take him down, Hamzat, again, we're going to do the MMA math again. Sorry, guys, but Hamzat should not have too much trouble. The guy is fucking ridiculous. Like, I know Kevin Holland is not the best in the world either, and that matchup was awful for him, but the control that Hamzat had around his waist in that fight was otherworldly. Like, I could not even believe myself how he kind of stopped those like Granby roll attempts and just kept Kevin Holland right where he wanted him in like scramble positions. So that doesn't tell us much, but in terms of this matchup, but I think what I'm getting at here is obviously he's going to be looking for more takedowns and, grappling exchanges that he did against Gilbert. And we've seen, especially, against lesser wrestler and Leon, can get taken down. And then you mentioned the knees, like every single camp and training, all that stuff wears on you. And it's only Usman's not getting any younger. So for me, I think I agree. I think a unanimous decision for Hamzat is the pick. If he does finish him, I would think it would be late, but that sounds too crazy to say. And I think Kamaru, he could catch Hamzat. He could knock him out. I think that's certainly possible because he was very hittable against Gilbert, and fucking Kamaru can crack. He still, that power never goes away. So I'm super excited for it. But I just think when you look at kind of those little aspects and comparisons, I got to go with Hamzat.
Yeah, and I think the ceremony weigh-in is going to show a lot, just the size difference. Like that's what I really want to see, just how big, the size difference. I think it's going to be like eye-opening, right? So I think that's like the biggest thing is just the size that Chimaev has on Usman.
Yes. That will be something. Hamzat is a big boy, but. Main event, Alex. Champ versus champ once again. Will we have a double champ this time officially? What is your official prediction for a new main event?
It's another one. It's like, how can you pick against Islam? But I just.
But you want to.
I want to. I kind of want to go Volkanovski like third round TKO. Like I don't know. I just kind of. I don't know what it is. I'm gonna be one of those guys where I have a feeling, you know what I'm saying? Like
I love it.
The fucking main event underdogs coming through. I'm gonna go Volkanovski like third round TKO, fourth round TKO. That's my just kind of
was able to catch him the first time.
Yeah, but I mean, if I was gonna bet my life savings on it, I'm gonna go. It'd be Islam,
right? Yeah. I don't know, man. I think that either direction, this could be a finish in this one. I think the short notice in both sides could play a factor into it. I don't think it's possible for Volk to like slow down or get tired, even if he's getting like rode on for the first 3 rounds or something like that, just dominated. I still feel like he's going to have enough gas to not get finished by, kind of that accumulation of damage, which is kind of maybe the only way I would see it happening. Not that obviously Islam couldn't submit him or something like that, contrary to Craig Jones's belief, which if he's going to say it, I mean, he is more educated than I in that realm. But it's super tricky. I mean, I think that the fact that they know each other from the first fight is obviously a huge factor. Just the amount of success that Volkanovski had and the way he is able to adjust to opponents mid-fight, let alone, having the time to do it. And he's already had this rematch in mind, and considering the success that he did have, I really do want to pick him. I really do, because I think, again, he's that guy who can do that. And we look at like the second Holloway fight, for example, and as I said, the mid-fight adjustments, obviously terrible first 2 rounds for him. He had the outside stuff. I think that was the USADA fight, right, where he had the wake-ups, if I'm remembering the timeline of events that happened and all that. But either way, he adjusted insanely well in the 3rd to 5th round to win it, in my opinion. I know a lot of people still think he didn't, but either way, he did adjust very nicely. It's super tough. I want to pick Volk, but I'm gonna say he's gonna win by decision this time. You know what? Fuck it. Let's just go with it. I think he's gonna pull it off. And it's gonna be here's the question though, Alex, to wrap up on this. Like, will the fight be better than the first one? Is that possible even because of the lack of preparation for Volk? Like I mean, I've seen that be a topic too.
It's rare that a second fight lives up to the first fight, right? Like,
true.
It's very rare that happens. But it might. I mean, these guys know each other very well. Yeah. I mean, and what's crazy is if Volk does pull it off, then you do the trilogy at UFC 300.
Man, I didn't even think about that. And have Volk still defend against Ilya in the meantime. Can you imagine?
Right.
Yeah, that would be, oh boy. But all right. Yeah. So we're in agreement. They're a little bit different ways, but he's the great for a reason, you guys. And if he was able to be that competitive, I'm gonna have hope there. I don't have a dog really in either race, but personally or anything.
I mean, if we're being honest, Islam's gonna. He's gonna win. I mean, let's just be honest. Islam's gonna win this fight. I mean, but I mean, it's fun to think about. But We know what's
We will see on Saturday.
we know what's up.
All right, everybody. That wraps up our Mania main line for this week. As now we giddy on up to our matchup roundup, Alex. Giddy up. Not as big as last week because last week they just fucking dumped a whole bunch on us. But let's see. Let's do the count here. I got them up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Just a 6 comfy little number here of fights announced in the past week. And we are going to include those ones we talked about because this is the rating system, Alex. So 1 out of 10 or whatever number out of 10 you want to go with. And we'll kick things off with that main event. What do you say for the rematch, Islam versus Alex Volkanovski 2?
I'm going to say 9 out of 10 just because it's just short notice fight.
Yes, I completely agree. That's the one thing holding it back. But that's just how damn good those guys are. And then we have... So I know you're about to fucking laugh at this. This is including non-UFC fights as well. So in Invicta, I'm just going to say that and you're going to laugh at me. Invicta FC 54, October 27th. That is the Boston show coming up here. Kalindra Faria, actually, who was in the UFC, she was in one of the first UFC, maybe she was the very first UFC flyweight fight against Mara Barella. I'm trying to test my knowledge here, but either way, she had a brief run there in the UFC, taking on Valeska Machado. I know, Alex, you're not going to care about this one. You're going to get like a 1.
Okay, 2 out of 10. Oh.
It's a fight, so you're going to give it there. But you know what? I think Kalindra did get got screwed over a little bit. I think she maybe beat Jessica I. And that doesn't say much either, but I think things could have gone a different way in her career with the UFC. And I'm not sure that she has fought since then. Maybe once or twice. I don't have it up. I could look, but whatever. And Valeska Machado, Tina Black, she's pretty fun typically. So this is it's a solid 5 for me. I am interested.
Whatever.
And five's the middle anyway. So all right, then we move over to one championship, Alex. I know you've been saying, have you hit your goal of trying to keep up more with Asian MMA this year? I know that was your resolution.
Not as much as I would like to.
One has made it easier for you though with the
1000%. Dude, I really love watching one championship. It is just
always good.
It's a fucking fun show to watch. Yeah.
Yes. So, and this will be a good one too, as we are in the 115-pound atomweight division. Hate their division names forever, being all mixed up. But at One Fight Night 16 coming up November 3rd, just a couple weeks, 2 weeks from now, Mung Bo is back taking on Ayaka Miura in their. Oh no, it's actually the 125 strawweight division. But big one for Mung Bo. If she gets the win, probably should be fighting a champ, Panda Zhang Jingnan. I like both of these girls. But I'm not going to make a prediction. That's what I was about to do. But I like this fight. I like them both. Sucks one has to lose. Mung Bo, she's one of the hardest hitting, probably female fighters on the planet. I mean, she's a true knockout artist. So it is always exciting to see her compete. 6.5 for me. I like it.
Yeah, same. Ditto.
You're just going to copy me for these.
Yeah, ditto.
All right, and then we're very international actually with these past couple of fights this past week. As in Octagon MMA, Octagon 48, Scott Askham, the former KSW champion and a UFC middleweight, taking on Mark Ducis, who I honestly don't know who that is, but Scott Askham is continuing to fight. So he, we'll see. I mean, he's getting up there in age. Scott Askham had obviously a better half of his career post UFC, you could say, obviously with his KSW success, but Muhammad Khalidov, the legend himself, just ruining his time in these last couple fights. So I guess I'm just mostly curious to see what Askham has left in the tank here. So it's about a 4 for me. Always been a moderately entertaining fighter. How do you feel about Scott Askham?
Yeah, he's always fun to watch. I just
He gets finished fun.
yeah, right, 1000%. Yeah, when he goes out with a bang. Yeah, I'm gonna go like mm, 5 out of 10.
All right, there we go. And then as for the other shakeup we had, this is in order of when they happened. So Hamzat versus Kamaru. What is the official rating for that one?
So that's a 9 out of 10. Only because it's on short notice.
Yeah, just getting docked for that. And the 5 rounds would give it like an 11 for me. But and obviously full training camps and that stuff. But oh shit, I put Machado and Faria on here twice. How dare I? We don't need to do that twice.
Yeah, no, you can fucking skip that.
So just a 5 fights, but there you go. There is your matchup roundup, everybody. Yeehaw. Much smaller week than last time. Jeez, we had a lot last week, so that feels really small, but some good ones in there. Obviously, the big ones are the big ones, but can't always be big weeks. So now, welcome to Spotlightville, Alex. How we doing? How are we? Who is our prospect? Who is your prospect to watch this week? And I will highlight the lady.
Yeah, so I have written about him in MMA Mania's prospect of the month. He's fighting again this week. Louis Goulet fight on Fury Challenger Series 8. He's a flyweight. That's like if he were to fight in the UFC, he'd be a flyweight, but he's switching back from flyweight to bantamweight. You know, you don't want to cut that much weight when you're getting paid peanuts, but this guy is he's the real deal, dude. He's the real deal. As soon as he gets to the UFC, he's gonna make a statement. Fantastic wrestling and can knock your head off. He's also a main training partner of Brandon Royval, all the Factory X guys. Like, this guy's the real deal. And it's just a matter of time before he gets the call to UFC. I don't even think he's gonna make it until next Contender Series because he's that good and he's that good of a talent. So Louis Goulet.
Ooh, all right. Well, you're 1 for 1. So everybody put that keep track of Alex's record. He's 1 for 1 on his prospect to watch in Spotlightville here from last week with Paul Hughes. So there you go. And as for me, highlighting our female prospect of the week, I mean, really the only one fighting this week is Victoria Dudakova. So by default, she's got to be it. And, you know, obviously she's very talented. She's a good prospect. It's just 7-0 so far. And this, I think, is very fair to say, you know, taking on Jin Yu Fry at UFC 294, Alex, this is her real debut because obviously
it's also a squash match.
Also should be that. But I say that mainly because the Estela Nunes fight was 30 seconds. Just nasty elbow dislocation. Were you at ringside for that?
Yeah.
Was it loud? What was it like?
Yeah, it was nasty. She was screaming. Like, it's just not. Yeah, I don't enjoy those moments. Like, it's pretty brutal.
Yeah, but that obviously was not the way Dudakova wanted the debut to go. So I think this, of course, will be a real potential showing for her. Again, as you said, against Jin, who hanging on. She's hanging on for her dear life with the career. Love Jin Yu Fry. She's obviously most known for her atomweight run as the former champion Invicta, all that stuff, but had some little momentum shifts every now and then in UFC. But it's definitely Dudakova's fight to lose. She has been, you know, good finisher throughout her career so far with the submissions. Loves getting on the back, rear naked chokes, all that stuff. Had a good performance in Contender Series to get her contract last year against Maria Silva. And still super duper young, right? Just 24. And strawweight division, always filling up with notable faces to look out for. So Victoria Dudakova probably still would have got this pick if she wasn't the only person, but I mean, hey, she's like the only person this week. So shout out to her. Love to Victoria Dudakova at Spotlightville, as they are the second fight. So you can see that one after. I'm gonna call an audible here, actually, Alex, because I'm looking now here. Second fight. I want to get your thoughts on the opening fight real quick, because there's been kind of some quiet big hype, if this makes sense, around Shara Bullet. He is opening the card. I think that he's kind of a guy who he's obviously had some it's a little sketchy, a little sketchy of a record, but from what you've seen and whatnot, how do you feel about Shara here?
It's bizarre that they're opening up this card. Like it, they could easily be the featured prelim. Bump Tim Elliott, Mokaev up to the main card and put this as the prelim headliner. Like, what the fuck is this doing opening the card? Stupid. Yeah, I think the odds are very weird on this fight. Like, I think they've gone down, but there was like a 3-1 for Charlotte, and then I think it went down to 2-1 favorite over Bruno Silva. Like, I understand GM3 dropped Bruno Silva, but like Alex Pereira didn't. Like, Alex Pereira went 3 rounds with Bruno Silva, and yeah, Charlotte Bullets beat a bunch of bums. Like, it's just it's a very very padded record. So it's going to be very interesting to see how this goes. It's obviously one of these guys is probably going to go down, probably first round, probably second round. Yeah, I'm very interested. And GM3 knocking down Bruno Silva does give me like some like big question marks for Bruno Silva, but I just think that the strength of schedule, you cannot go against someone making their UFC debut. So I think Bruno Silva possibly pulls it off.
Yeah, that's definitely I think that's going to be a super telling fight for both guys. So it's definitely interesting. Wanted to touch on that real quick, but Victor also with a shout here to Amru Magomedov, who I literally just saw his finish right before we hopped on air here. Check out Kaposa's Twitter, of course. He's got all the highlights there for the Russian MMA. But Amru is a very good talent as well. So yes, he doesn't make the mark because he was right before the show. So good win. He just became champion, I believe, in whatever promotion that was. Kind of all over the place. But yes, UAE. So all right, that's a good way to wrap up Spotlightville for the week, Alex. And now we get to probably our favorite part of the show, where we get to stop talking about MMA. It's time for the Drelex Movie Club, as I'm going to call it. Come on, Renee.
That's good.
So if you guys missed last week's episode, the debut of Sound and Pound, this is kind of like typical movie club stuff, but we gave each other a movie to watch. Then we will talk about it here today, and then give each other another movie to watch. So I got the Green Room. Just Green Room. It's not The Green Room, which I thought it was when you said that. But I think that's a different thing. But I got Green Room. Alex had Enemy. Jake Gyllenhaal, 2016? No, 2013, actually older. 2015 for Green Room. Alex, since you've already seen Enemy, this is watch number 3, you said you believe. If you did watch it even, did you be a good boy?
Yeah. I watched it. I think this was the 4th time I've seen it. It's just as
still amazing.
And it's still just as bizarre as the first time I watched it. Same, like, I think the movie's about commitment. I think that's kind of like the theme of it. Spider webs. I think that's how it goes. But I mean, it's a very what the fuck are people calling me for, dude? Yeah, so it's a fun movie. It's a very interesting movie. I think it's a movie that, like, I would like to see, like, have our watchers of this kind of join our movie club with us, right? Like, that'd be cool. I think it's a movie where like 70% of people will not like it, and 30% of people like it.
Especially like first watch. It's a movie that demands 2 watches. So like I wanted to ask you too, we didn't talk about it last week, which is perfect to line up to this, but when you first watched it, like, what was your reaction?
What the fuck? What the fuck did I watch? Like, that's exactly. I was just like, what was that? And then I watched like 7 YouTube movie explain, Chris Stuckman, all the guys.
Oh, that's my guy.
It was just like, what did I watch?
Yeah, no, I had that too. I enjoyed it and everything, but then on the second watch, I was like, oh, this might be the best movie I've ever seen. I was like, that was incredible. It's one of those, you guys. So if you haven't seen Enemy, it's an absolute trip. I describe it as a metaphorical masterpiece, because it's very not literal, but the telling of it kind of is, if that makes sense. So it's unique. It's very unique. So I'm glad. That's why I wanted to kind of kick it off with this for Alex's choice. But yeah, so Green Room, I got to it last night, and I know you kind of gave me the brief breakdown of what it was like, but I still wasn't quite sure what to expect. Or I had a feeling watching it that it was going to turn to like something with some kind of monsters or something like that. But I was very pleasantly surprised. It was really good. What caught me off guard the most, Alex, was friggin' Sir Patrick Stewart showing up in the movie. I did not expect to see Professor X. But he was fantastic. The like lead bad guy kind of boss there of the Nazis and all that. But no, that was a really good movie, man. Thanks for recommending that one, especially to kick us off. Like, I think what I liked so much about it was, fuck, dude, I bet that's not that exact situation, but a lot of punk bands have been in that situation. You know, like they haven't had it play out that way, but if you know anything about music in that kind of scene, that has happened plenty, I'm sure. Maybe even
1000%.
exactly like that, you know, like it's
Yeah.
it's kind of trippy to watch it all play out. And man, I mean, yeah, Anton Yelchin was very good. Imogen Poots, I think she was kind of maybe the best in it, because just she kind of comes out of just right as things really start happening is where, when it kind of picks up, is when she gets kind of interesting and involved in all that stuff. But yeah, no, it was very good. Very not, I wouldn't. It was scary, but not in the sense of like, you know, a typical horror movie. So good, all that stuff. I enjoyed it. I liked it a lot.
Good.
So
Good.
that was definitely a good one. It does make me sad though. Like, you look back and, you know, specifically with Anton, like, dang, you know, missing out on that kind of stuff. But
Yeah.
a good movie to get in there. And honestly, there were some actually like low key, really funny parts. I thought like, like the ending specifically was pretty fucking hilarious. I won't spoil it for you guys. It's a line, not like the actual ending, but the last line of the movie was hilarious. And then when, brief spoiler, but when, well, they were kind of like, it was the three of them, Anton, Imogen Poots, and then the other female singer. They had like just, I think, taken out somebody, and they're like, "Should we leave?" Like, yeah, you think so? I think so. So there were like a couple moments like that. I was like, "Oh, this is fantastic. This is like right up my alley." So you nailed it with this first pick, man. That was good. That was good. So, all right, then let's get on to what we got coming up. What do I get this week, Alex?
Well, I am sticking with horror because it is spooky season.
Yep, I am this time too.
So I'm gonna go. I have a couple, and I'd rather have you watch a movie you haven't seen before.
Okay.
So, have you seen Creep?
I have not.
That's your movie.
Right.
And it's on Netflix, directed by Patrick Bryce. It's a very concealed movie. It takes place basically in one location. It's about a creep, and I don't want to tell you anymore. Just
all right. So a little similar. Green Room was maybe not as confined, maybe, but you know, it was most obviously the title of the movie is about. That's like where half of it takes place, right? So, okay, I do like that, obviously, but ooh, all right. So spooky season it is. Yeah, I know. I had to. You're gonna fucking hate me for this, but I feel pretty confident that you haven't seen this one. And I had to get one of these out of the way for, let's say, our first 5 episodes, but I'm hitting you with this movie from, let me see when this movie came out, because it is an older one. 1985. The Stuff. Have you ever heard of The Stuff, Alex?
The Stuff. I have not.
Well, that's your movie this week, my man. It is a very B movie kind of horror, which is about this. It's like I haven't seen it in a long time, but some kind of like new product, the stuff, and it is kind of evil and things. So it's one of those funny horror movies. So I'm giving you one. You're gonna be like, this is bullshit, but but you should get some laughs out of it. So sorry, but not sorry. And yes, we should. If you guys do want to get along with this, of course, it obviously works out perfectly to watch these things that maybe you haven't seen before, or even if you have. And we could share the discussions every week, which I see some new comments flooded in here. But Octagon updates, it's all about the timing. Or they're talking in there. My bad. We'll get into this here momentarily. But yes, feel free to join the Dralex Movie Club. So all right, looking forward to it. To watching. But all right, Alex, here we are at that point now where we will wrap up with our Q&A. So we'll scroll back through everything you guys have left us off with. Appreciate it so much for anybody who tuned in. Of course, like, share, subscribe, do all that stuff. And sorry again if you did Twitter questions or comments, which we cannot see. So let's scroll through. What I should do, what I'm going to start doing is clicking the stars on these because you can favorite them so they go into one spot like a folder. So I kind of fucked that up, but that is okay. James, our man, says, do we consider Volkanovski as an active fighter? For a champion, I think if you are hitting, especially if you're a champion, 2 fights a year, then it's 100%. Like that's always been the average. Like in my entire fandom, I would say just for any fighter, but for a champion specifically, especially in recent years, seems like people have gotten more to 1 fight a year, which really bums me out. But I think Volkanovski for sure fits that qualification, right?
Oh, absolutely. He's one of the most active champions, not even active fighter, active champion, you know?
Yeah, 100%. So here we go. James springboarding off says, why don't we consider Weili an active fighter when both fighters have had 8 fights each since 2019? Well, the spread, I think there's different. I don't have Weili's record up right now, but she has been less active since becoming a champion. I think I'm pretty sure that's factual, unless these numbers are more spread out than I thought. I don't know. Are you pulling it up?
No. No.
Oh, okay.
Let's see. Weili, they have 8 fights since 2019. I guess that makes sense.
Yeah, so let's see. I mean, Weili has fought once this year.
7. Fought 7 times.
I mean, yeah, I mean, there's just kind of some big gaps with Weili since then.
I mean,
bigger, I guess.
I mean, yeah. I mean, you can. I mean, is she the most active fighter? No, but I mean, she's.
She's not an inactive champ or anything. Yeah.
Right.
But she's also not taking the short notice fight. No. But no, it's yeah. And we didn't say that necessarily, James. You did. But all right. Let's see. Oh yeah. So Octagon updates wanted China updates, which
So
Song Yadong fight falling through. That's all I've seen.
Yeah, so I've heard that it's in jeopardy of not happening. And if it does not happen, I would not be surprised if they add a last Apex show in December and do what they did. Guess it was earlier this year because we were at Bellator for that Fedor fight when that happened. So yeah, I've been hearing it's like 50-50 at this point if China happens.
Okay. I kind of honestly hope it doesn't because of what we talked about last week. Like, if you don't have Weili and Xiaonan, then what are you fucking doing, man? Like, it's just when it's right there too. It's like, just don't even bother with it then. Sorry, Chinese fans, but I know they want it too. So, Ghost asks, do we remember when Dean Barry eye gouged Mike Jackson? I have erased it from my memory, even though we talked about it earlier. I don't want to think about it. But yeah, that was maybe the shittiest shit show in UFC history, worse than CM Punk. Ay. All right, what else do we? Yeah, then I don't have to sift through when I spot them out actually. So let's see. Octagon updates asked, did Marcel help with that segment? I think you asked this around mainline. And no, Marcel, we thought of all these by ourselves. So sorry, Marcel, no credit for you here whatsoever. Let's see. Some comments about the co-main event. Oh, James asking why use MMA math when you guys said MMA math doesn't work. It's just a good I will use it to connect things and maybe lead to comparisons, I guess. But obviously we know it doesn't work, like we didn't say, and we don't say that this guy's going to beat this guy because he lost to that guy, right? Like that's the MMA mathiest math. But I think you have to clearly take away, things you can compare from other fights and whatnot. So that's how I feel anyway, Alex.
It's just fucking silly, James Kendrick. Okay, fuck.
Oh, you even said that. There you go. Okay. All right. What do we got? Ghosts with a question here. How funny is listening to the California Commission dude, Andy Foster? He's talking about a Bellator with his Savannah accent. I know he's got just the craziest accent. I love it. But yeah, I watched like only the first 10 seconds of that video. I didn't get to watch the whole thing, but I like that he's doing that, Alex. I mean, I think that's good.
Yeah, it's just mind blowing that all commissions won't do it, and I understand
the egos, man.
Yeah, it's like, bro, like I understand, like the judges, referees would probably get some pushback, but I feel like they would be respected more if there's just some fucking transparency. Like, dude, just come out and say. I mean, even if you know you got the fight wrong, just be like, yeah, I was watching something. I thought, watching a fight at cage side is very difficult, dude.
Yes.
Very, very, very difficult. And I don't understand why the judges are still doing it. It's like, it makes zero sense. Like it's so difficult. Like get the fuck, get out, go to another room, bro. Like, yeah, like, God, so silly.
Yeah. It's wild, but yeah, I know I like to see, especially kind of timing of things. It's cool for him to, and he's been, out of a lot of commissioners, he's been one of the ones who's been more open, which is nice and stuff. And even though he disagrees with open scoring, which I disagree with him feeling that way, I'm glad that he's at least talking about it, because a lot of these fuckers don't even talk about it. So yeah. But James asking, does the UFC officially hate Drakus? I mean, it's not looking great. Not looking great.
They don't hate him, but they don't like him right now.
Yeah, I mean, I still think you have this opportunity. I mean, they fucked up, dropped the ball with the title fight against Adesanya, but you still have that fight there. Do that as a main event, or a co-main event, maybe, because it feels weird to put Izzy off a pay-per-view now, right? Like he's at that point, but that fight needs 5 rounds and a co-main at minimum, right? Like,
yeah,
that's still the fight to make.
It's tough because, like, obviously, if Chimaev wins this weekend, the UFC wants him to be a champion. Like, it's obvious, right? If Usman wins, there's the history between Strickland and Usman. Cannonier beats Dolidze. Cannonier beat Strickland late last year, and then Drake, bro, like he dominated Robert Whittaker, like as the number 1 contender fight. So like, there's 4 really good options. I mean, I guess really good options. I say, like, there's 4 options out there.
Yes.
They
all have connections or sense to them.
1,000%.
Yeah, I mean, ideally, perfect world is like Drakus just gets the title shot because he still totally deserves it. So like, that's not going to happen, obviously. But yeah, I don't know. It's crazy. I think he's going to have to fight again, and then it's like, how do you not do the Izzy one somehow? But yes. So this isn't a question, but our man, the king of positivity, Alvin, is here. Says, I love movies too. Movies connect us all in a way that is special. There you go, Alvin. Join the club. We got the Stuff and Creep this week. So yeah, I don't know if you're a horror fan, but if you love movies, Alvin, there you go. So one bad one and one I'm expecting to be good one. I will admit the Stuff isn't a good movie. Sorry. It's fun though. It's like silly. I couldn't help it. I had to get to one. God damn it. I don't think it's very long, if that helps. Okay, let's see. Pokimane says, is Austin confirmed location for the fight night on December 2nd? It's Texas, right? I haven't seen Austin.
Austin's the location. It's not officially confirmed, but that's where it's going down.
All right, cool. And that card is fucking pretty damn good too for a fight night. So that will be nice.
And there's a couple fights that are coming that are gonna be eye-opening.
All right. And it doesn't have a main event yet, right?
No, but
and that's what you're hinting at.
That one, no, main event, and then there's a featured bout that's like, holy shit, this should be the main event. But
all right.
You know.
All right. All right. His ghost says, I'm not even paying attention to what Andy Foster is saying. Just I like his accent. It's like molasses spilling out of his mouth. I mean, I understand what you mean. I don't know if that's a specific reference. That sounds very familiar, though. Like a commentator said something like that before, but no. Octagon update saying fight night in Africa, Alex.
I feel like if they go to Africa, it probably be a pay-per-view, but I mean, maybe not.
Missed the boat on that.
Because of, I just don't. I mean, it's going to be so hard to sell tickets over there. And then where, like, obviously it's probably going to be South Africa.
Oh, yeah.
I just don't know how big the arena is, whatever.
That stuff, the logistics there. But yet, I mean, oh my God. Yeah, if you just figured it out, Octagon updates. If you do Izzy and Drakus fight night in South Africa.
South Africa?
Just South anywhere Africa. There. Wow. Yeah, that would be. Whew. That's the way to go, I think, for sure. But and Alex was waiting for the beans to be spilled. But
yeah, I was hoping I maybe could be able to do it, but someone hasn't signed their contract, so
bastards.
You know.
But, all right, Alvin loves his horror movies. It shows the human condition at its worst, so we could do our best. Oh, you are just the best yourself, sir. But that's the perfect way to close us out here, Alex, as episode 2 now of Sound and Pound in the books. I will roll our new fancy music back up here. Man, so much going on. So much.
Give us the weight class for the UFC Austin main event. Lightweight.
Oh, all right. There you go. And he's asking Pena Pennington.
That's probably going to be January or February.
All right. There you have it. And on that note, we will wrap it up, you guys. Thanks so much for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed episode 2 of Sound and Pound. Remember, please like, share, and subscribe. Follow Mania.com on all the social media platforms there are out there. You can follow me at Drinkers_ and Alex Hunin. Twitter, Instagram, all that stuff. Pretty basic with our handles. But Alex, any plugs or any things you want to share before I have I got a Dakota Ditchabay interview coming out this week, probably Thursday. I got one with Kaiwu. I just spoke to Julia Budd this morning. Couple other things.
You're a busy man, bro.
A lot. Broaden Horizon, episode 32 with the boss man, Nobuyuki Sakagabara, dropped last week. Yes, I'm trying to organize everything, but there's a lot to come, you guys. So stay tuned to the channel for that and the website, of course. But Alex, how about you? Anything? I know you just dropped a Marcus McGee one, so I'll give you that. As we got a little Bell here.
Yeah, just say Bell says goodbye. I have an interview with Marcus McGee, and just check my byline for any of the stories I write.
All right, there you go, you guys. And we will see you next time, same Tuesday after UFC 294. Woo. So hope we survive.